Hi everybody, today I am talking to you about the Progressive Dairy wagon that we have in our collection. This is a really cool artifact and another example of things that we're not able to put on exhibit, but we're really excited to be able to show you on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. So I'm going to give you a little bit of history of Progressive Dairy. So in November 4th, 1912, W. Allen Gifford and his brother Joseph started the Gifford Sanitary Milk Company, and they just began delivering milk from their own family herd in one horse-drawn wagon around Racine. They delivered to families on Main Street and Wisconsin Avenue, College, and Lake Avenues. So just a small area to begin with. And then by 1923, they incorporated the company and became the Progressive Dairy. During the Depression, they were able to give skim milk for free to needy families. They also were able to extend credit to families. And that was not because their company was necessarily doing so well. They were actually in quite a bit of debt. They had listed in 1931 liabilities of $130,000 and assets of $84,000. But they still were able to continue on and helping people out and helping needy families, giving credit whenever needed. Many of their employees took voluntary pay cuts, and they were able to pay off all of their creditors by the end of the Depression and obviously continue on for quite a long time. So as I said, here we have a Progressive Dairy wagon. This would have been pulled by a horse. But they actually did have cars as early as 1918. They had their first delivery truck, and so there were trucks and wagons on the streets of Racine delivering milk throughout those decades. The last horse-drawn wagon of the Progressive Dairy was seen on the streets of Racine in 1952. And so another fun fact about Progressive Dairy is W. Allen Gifford, their chairman. He did not like to refer to himself as an executive. He referred to himself as the big milkman. And by all accounts, he was a very friendly, outgoing, generous man who was known for his involvement in the Goodwill Parade, which is what they called the 4th of July parade that happened every year. He began that in 1937. He was the chairman of the parade, and he rode in the parade every year on a horse. People asked him, wasn't that undignified for a company executive to be riding on a horse in a parade? And he said, nonsense. He loves parades, he loves horses, and he loves children, and so it was a perfect fit for him. And during World War II, with gas rationing, they didn't want to use vehicles to pull the floats, and so he organized a roundup of area horses to pull the floats in the parade, and so he made sure that that parade continued on year after year. He was also an active supporter in the Boy Scouts. He himself was a Boy Scout. He had earned the Silver Beaver Award, which is the highest award that you can receive in adult scouting. He also was a great supporter of the YMCA and many other charitable organizations in Racine. He passed away in 1963, and in 1973, the Progressive Dairy in Racine closed its doors. It was bought by Dean Foods. And so we don't have them here anymore. But I wanted to show you some great artifacts that we do have that I can talk to you about. This is a Progressive Dairy milk bottle. And I learned some interesting facts about milk bottles. So initially, milk was delivered in horse-drawn wagons in pails. And what would happen is they would have a great big pail of milk, and the milkman would come and just ladle out the milk into whatever receptacle the homeowner had. Well, in upstate New York, there was a doctor, his name was Dr. Thatcher, and he actually witnessed the milkman going around delivering milk to people, and when the milkman's back was turned, there was a little girl, and she had a doll that was very dirty, as kids' toys often get to be, and she dropped her doll in the milkman's pail, and the milkman simply came over and pulled the doll out and went on ladling milk out of this milk pail into people's receptacles. And so the doctor knew that that was not a very healthy way to be distributing milk. And so he began inventing different ways that milk could be kept safe. And so he invented first wooden bottles for milk that would have a top on them, that would have a closed lid. and he didn't get very far with that invention. And then he began experimenting with glass bottles. Now, the first deliveries that were made with the glass bottles, they just had them sitting on straw, and the milk spilled all over, and the glass was clanking against each other. And the milkman who is delivering said, I don't know who in their right mind would ever deliver milk in a glass bottle. But of course we know the rest of the story, that eventually they did come up with things that they could put these in that would hold them tight, and the milk could be delivered in glass bottles with a seal, so that would keep it safe from contamination. And today you can still buy milk in glass bottles. So that invention comes from a Dr. Thatcher in upstate New York. But thank you for listening today. We're so excited that you're able to join us for these videos. We've been posting some pictures from the 4th of July parade. And so when you see those, you can think about W. Allen Gifford and his involvement in the Goodwill Parade or the 4th of July parade as we know it today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.